Are we going?
We are going. All
Check.
right. Welcome.
How's my levels?
Looking
Chickadee
pretty good.
check.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Nice.
pretty crisp.
All right, welcome to the Drive Time Podcast.
I'm Alfred Barnes.
I'm Parker Brown.
And I'm Tommy Sinbazo.
And yeah.
Our first in-car guest.
Yeah, this is pretty exciting. We put him in the back seat.
They gave me the best car. Look at these golf balls.
Oh God, no!
You
It's
want to buy an eighth of golf balls?
prop comedy.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah, you've
so
already
Tommy,
messed up. You've already screwed up.
We had Sam Brown on a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
and we realized one thing. We're really bad at interviewing people.
Maybe the worst.
So, is it okay if we practice interviewing you?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
what
of
got
course.
you into comedy?
Turn right here. Right here.
Oh God, this is a road.
Yes. I said an alley. We go out the alley. Did you listen to nothing I said?
I heard the alley part, but this looks like a driveway to me.
In the streets, out the alleys, which also does sound like a euphemism for something. I
I
don't
want
know
in
for
the
what.
streets and out the alleys.
Ladies in the streets, alleys in the
I'll
sheets.
put two fingers in the streets and one in the alley. But what got me into comedy? I'd always wanted to do comedy. When I was a little kid.
Okay, you want to hear a Jerry Seinfeld impression now? No.
Oh, wow, you guys are bad.
No, go off, King.
Yeah, go off.
No, I had in elementary school, in
Yeah.
the first grade, when they were like, "What? We're going to write down what everybody wants to be when they grow up."
Yeah.
And I love dinosaurs, but I couldn't spell paleontologist, but I could spell stand-up comic, and that has set me on a trajectory ever since. And
Right.
I'd always been on stage too. My mom had me in baby beauty pageants back before.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Before
God.
all this faded
Oh, yeah.
away.
Yeah. Am I going right or left?
We're gonna make a right.
Okay. Right.
Again, you listen to nothing.
No, I
said.
did. I was like,
I'm
oh,
a
God.
horrible direction. We're gonna miss so many turns. Welcome to the
We'll get
Getting
there.
Lost in Catonsville podcast.
Hey, we've gotten lost on this podcast before. And
Oh, yeah.
We've driven past many.
Yeah, Parker will be like, "That's your exit."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, our like last episode or two episodes ago was on Juneteenth,
Okay.
and
yeah,
we without
respect.
even thinking, we went to a mic in Western Baltimore.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we were just like driving in Western Baltimore, like, is that another chicken restaurant?
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah,
so
we're
weird.
we're like, wow, hip hop fish and chicken. Wow, another hip hop.
Hip hop is, by the way, if you're listening to this, the best chicken in Baltimore. Is
Yeah.
hip-hop fish
They
and
have
chicken.
pretty good fish too.
Yeah.
I like the
when
fish.
I never eat the chicken there.
Yeah.
But I will get like a tilapia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The seasoning that kind of tastes a little bit like they just put every single seasoning in the cupboard.
Yeah. It's
in
like
there.
a dry rub of
I
crack.
like it a lot. So you're in this magical band called Bussi, right?
Mhm.
But you're still doing solo stuff too.
Yeah.
How's that split going? Are you doing like 50-50? Are you more doing one or the other? What's
I think
going on
this
there?
year, this will be the second year we've done Bussi.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's getting to be more 50-50 because
Okay.
it's just easier.
Yeah.
It's easier to do Bussi.
Yeah.
And it's easier to be like, hey, like if someone books me, I'll be like, hey, can I bring my buddy Eric and we'll just do our band?
Yeah.
And then Eric drives. So,
Oh yeah.
like, I have a gig I just got booked through VR. One of my
Oh,
VR
really?
comics.
Oh, that's
Nice.
awesome.
He's up in Philly, and he has this hot show called Casa Duran.
Okay.
His name's London Duran. And he has Casa Duran because it used to be house shows that he was doing until his landlord was like, you got to knock all this shit out. So now he has like this warehouse space, but the shows are pretty packed. It's a hot room.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
And he asked me to go do it in July. And my first thought was, hey, can Eric get on it so I
Yeah,
don't have to drive to Philly by myself?
That's kind of been our experience too. Me and Al aren't a duo, but we do because we do the podcast.
Mhm.
Anytime we get booked on a show, we're like, "Would you mind having one more on the
Yeah,
show?"
yeah. Hey, let me help you
Yeah,
out
yeah,
as a
yeah,
booker.
We've literally had people where they're like, well, you guys can split the time and the money, and we're like, all right, whatever.
Yeah,
it's
that's fine. That's fine.
That's how Bussi is. Like the
Yeah.
cut is like.
Can you describe? Sorry, we didn't describe what Bussi.
Yeah,
Can
we
you
didn't-
describe
we didn't
Bussi
say
to
it's
the-
boy pussy.
Yeah, right.
No, it's
Right.
so it's Eric and
Cheaper
I.
every day. Cheaper every day.
You get them on Wayfair.
Yeah. No, we were asking for a description of your Bussi.
Oh,
in
yeah.
well, it's like imagine a brown balloon.
Oh,
No, but so Bussi Eric and I, we do these comedy murder mysteries, and
Right.
Eric started out as a musical comedian.
Yes.
The
I
lowest,
didn't know that.
Yeah, the lowest form of
Oh.
comedy.
No, I agree. His what is it? D jokes in A minor or something like
Dick
that.
jokes in A minor or
Yeah,
something.
I have that CD. Not bragging.
Yeah. But Eric started as a musical comic and then branched out into
Good
doing
comedy.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
He grew up and decided to start telling abortion bits
Yeah,
without a
yeah,
soundtrack.
Yeah.
But he got in. We were in the comedy murder mysteries together, and it got to a point where we did one that was everyone has to have a hook.
Okay.
Like there's one. There's a newlywed game, so you go there and you bring your dates, and they
Yep.
play a newlywed game. There's one that it's a trivia. Well, we did one that was karaoke, and that's when Rob found out that Eric and I, that we could both sing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and-
I was astounded by your voice when I watched the special. I was like, "Damn, you were hitting some like Chris Cornell shit." I was like, "God damn, Tommy!" Like,
So and then we went 2 weeks overseas for Armed Forces. That we got to turn here. I'm sorry.
oh, perfect.
Yeah, we went 2 weeks overseas, and during that, to kill time on the base, Rob was like, Rob was like, "Hey, who would you rather fuck?" Blah blah blah. But one of the one of the questions, he was like, "Who's your favorite musician?" And we were both like Weird Al.
Okay.
And he was like, "Oh, you both like? Do you know Weird Al songs?" I was like, "I do."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, sing one for me." And I was like, "Do you know Yoda?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I know Yoda." So we started singing Yoda. And we naturally were starting to harmonize and hitting all the spots and everything.
Wow.
And Rob was like, "This is something.
Yeah.
There's something here."
Yeah.
So then he started, in the murder mysteries, he just started booking us to sing together.
Okay.
He'd be like, "Hey, you guys are going to sing a duet to this song." And we kept doing that more and more often. And then we sang, we were doing like a variety show at Magooby's for a New Year's Eve.
Sure.
And we sang together. And we wrote a song about, I think it was from going into 2021. It was called Fuck 2020.
Okay. I like it.
We also did a crowd work 12 Days of Christmas, right?
Oh, that's cool.
That's fun too.
So-
That's tough.
We ended up, well, I took, when I did 8 years improv before I got into comedy.
Oh, the second
Stand-up.
lowest form of
Yeah.
comedy.
I
Nice.
built myself up, and now
Wow.
I'm on a trajectory
This
down.
is like a lily growing in a polluted pond. You know what I mean?
He's really blossomed.
It really is blossoming.
But I even
now.
lived out in Chicago for a little
What?
bit. I took lessons at Second
Second
City
City.
Comedy
Wow.
Olympics.
Wow.
I took a improv musical course at Second City.
Crazy.
And so anyway, so then we decided to originally we called ourselves White and Nerdy,
Yep.
or
Classic.
that got changed to Amish Paraguys. Both plays
like
off
that,
Weird
yeah,
Al.
yeah,
songs.
Weird Al
of
songs.
course.
And then we were like, hey, let's start booking. And the DC Comedy Festival, Eddie Lyles booked
Yeah.
us.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Eddie booked us to do a musical show.
Fuck
and
yeah.
so we had to write a routine for it. But then I got booked on a paying gig, and Eric had to go by himself. But we had already written some stuff.
Some songs and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we decided to start pimping ourselves out as Bussi. As what were we going? White and Nerdy or Amish Paragon.
Yeah.
We hadn't
Yeah.
settled on it. And then we were at a music and gaming convention that happens every year called MagFest.
Right. Yeah.
And
I thought that was MagFest. I thought MagFest was Meet and Greet Fest.
no.
Okay,
No,
I'm
it's,
wrong. That's MagCon. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. Sorry.
That's
keep
MAGA.
going. Oh, okay. Yeah.
But so I had some extra passes because I host a game show there every year.
Sure.
Right.
So Eric came and we were on mushrooms in our hotel room, and like one of the last things he said was, "What if we called our band Bussi?" And I was like, "Fuck, that's fucking awesome!" And so we started designing logos and merch and everything.
Right.
But then it turns out they wouldn't say Bussi on 98 Rock.
Even like that's one of the censored words you're not allowed to say.
It's too
Yeah.
close.
They even know what it is.
Yeah, that's why I was like, well, how the fuck did you know what it is? And then some
Right.
places were uncomfortable about putting it on their flyers.
I'm just
Okay.
imagining Spiegel being like, Bussi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what is Bussi?
Yeah.
But so it ended up, I was like, okay, well, let's change it to an acronym,
Right.
and we'll be the Bionic Universal Super Soldiers
Soldiers
Incorporated.
Yeah.
And then we can keep all this merch we have. And then, so we've been going on at it from there, and now we just got a website, which is home of the Bionic Universal Super Soldiers Incorporated, or hotbussy.com.
That's awesome. What have you guys had? So you guys have both kind of done some musical comedy before.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything specifically with like Bussi that was kind of a surprise, or anything that was really good or really bad that you guys had?
So, something I didn't realize before, when you're telling jokes, like real jokes, if your bit's not going good,
Right.
you can stop telling the bit. You
Right.
can just
Yeah,
be like, all right,
yeah.
let me switch over. You can't stop the song. You have to follow.
Oh, you guys didn't like that? Oh, okay, yeah.
Only 4 more verses.
It is kind of
How
funny.
I ate out my grandmother.
You're like on the second day of Christmas. You're like, "Fuck, this isn't working." Fuck.
I don't know. I do like the idea of you like slowly singing quieter, and Eric's just like
Yeah.
playing. Like,
Yeah.
Because we have this one song. We have this one song it's on the special, but it's called "Special Girl,"
Okay,
right?
okay,
And
okay.
it's Eric and I. We sing about we're fighting over a girl,
Yeah.
and we're describing the girl's features. And in the song, we pick a woman out. And say,
From
my
the
God,
audience.
we're
Yeah.
like, you look exactly like this woman.
Okay.
Can we sing this song to you?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to make a left here on the Sulphur Spring. And the woman, she always like, oh, okay, yeah. And
Yeah.
the first verse is innocuous. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll love you better. No, he won't hold you. He won't spoon you at night. But then we start getting in, the second verse, we start getting into what she looks like.
Yeah.
And we describe the most fucked up,
like
thalidomide, birth defect baby.
coming in the feeding tube.
Yeah.
all that
I
stuff.
love your uneven ears and your
The one line is try to, what is it? I'll rub your prosthetic thigh, try to catch your lazy eye, get a whiff of your UTI. That's like the
Wow.
second verse. But then
That's so crazy. That was actually my vows to my wife. It's wild that you say
love is patient.
Yeah.
Love has a UTI. But the first version, Eric was like, "Hey, I got this song."
Yeah.
And it's we're fighting over this woman. Turns out she has a dick. And it's called "That Penis on You."
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, Eric, this song's not going to work.
You're right.
Because if you don't like trans people, you're not going to like that we're singing about a trans
Right.
person. And if you do like trans people, you're not going to like that the
It's
butt
not
of the
funny,
joke.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
he was
also, you
like-
give away the joke in the
in the
Yeah.
title.
in the title. Yeah.
So he was like, no, it'll be good. It'll be good. So I was like, all right, fine, fuck it. So we were at Cellar Door, which
Yeah.
was one of the first times we performed as Bussi. And we
Classic
sang
spot.
that, and the whole room, it was just crossed arms and just looks of disapproval. And we had to finish the whole fucking song. So I was like, all right, we got to change these fucking lyrics, man. Let's make it about a woman. And we came up with Special Girl, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But then if we don't pick a target, like if we don't say, ma'am, this song is about a woman that looks just like you,
Yeah.
then the crowd thinks we're making fun of disabled people.
Right.
So we quickly learned to be like, hey, everyone, this is about this woman right here. So yeah, that learning about that.
Have you had like a woman get like pissed about it?
No, but we have had women that like I couldn't see. They're like when we record the special, the second show.
Yeah.
It was almost like we manifested this special girl. Like
Yeah.
she had everything. It was basically a torso in a wheelchair that someone wheeled in. And then there was that I was like, fuck, man, we manifested
Yeah.
this thing.
Yeah.
We said special girl too many times and this thing appeared. But there was one time we did it for Christmas. Around Christmas, we did a show up in Haverty Grace,
Yeah.
and there was an office party there, and you couldn't really see well from the stage.
Okay.
And we picked a woman, and she turns out she had no teeth. She was,
Hell
yeah.
she was a very busted-looking woman to begin with. So what we learned, you got to pick a woman, and two, she has to be the hottest
She has to
woman
be
in
hot.
the room,
Yeah.
so that everybody can be like, ah, fuck that bitch.
That's awesome. What's your favorite song?
That we sing.
Yeah.
I like Special Girl. I really do like Special
Okay,
Girl.
okay.
But we have a new one called. It's another Eric Woodworth Ridge, where it's called. What is it? It's MK Ultra Into You, where it's about you have to start believing all the wacky, fucked up things a woman believes so that you can get pussy.
Oh, okay.
And we describe every conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
And it's really catchy. And I just like, we have good harmonies in it. Eric always writes the songs with harmonies in mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I have a song, I wrote a song on the way home from work called Father's Day at the Glory Hole.
Yeah. I think you guys use that one a lot in your promotions and stuff.
No,
right?
that's where that came from. That
okay.
there was a crowd, because Bussi is a crowd work bit. Like, all the songs are always the same, but the crowd work to get into the songs is always different.
Yeah.
And crowd work's hot right now, boys.
So hot.
Yeah. I was at a show like 2 weeks ago. It's a show you're on tomorrow at Max's Tap House.
Oh yeah.
One of the audience members just kept yelling out, "You got to do crowd work. You got to do more crowd work. You guys don't know how to do stand-up. You're supposed to do crowd work."
Well,
and I'm
no.
like, I want to fight you.
That
you
does
know?
suck, because like I was pretty good at crowd work pretty early on in stand-up, and I was like, hell yeah, this is kind of my edge on other comedians. And now everybody does crowd work, and I was like, well, I guess I will never do that
because
again.
of the pandemic. I'll tell you, crowd work gained popularity because, like, Steve Hofstetter he was always posting those videos.
Yeah.
Like
where,
the
Comedian Destroys Heckler. And then it got to be that there were people that would go to his show just to try to get their little spots of fame.
Yeah.
Right.
And that led to, I believe that led to a resurgence of comedians posting these interactions.
Yeah.
Which then, the zeitgeist just started leaning more to that. There's also something to be said about where if you do have bits, you don't want to put them out there so that everybody knows your bits.
You don't have to burn material.
Yeah.
And
No,
also
that's definitely the incentive.
Not that I'm like super good at crowd work, but people don't realize like it's hard to do crowd work, but it's not as hard as it looks either, you know? Like,
plus you're already up there, adrenaline's pumping,
Yeah.
you're already thinking quicker than the
half the
people in
time
the crowd.
you can just hear something kind of strange and go, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And then everyone laughs, and you're like, "Damn, I'm really fucking
Yeah, you're
good."
just
at
like,
crowd
what's your
work."
profession? And then you go, gay.
Yeah.
Well, time to get my chin redone.
No, I don't. Well, I found with crowd work, you just have to make it more specific than other people probably would. You just have to be like, you look like you just got off at Zoomies, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
I just posted this thing on Instagram that it was, "Hey, I'm looking for comedians that post crowd work to social media. Any recommendations?" No one got it was a fucking joke. Everyone just was like, "A lot of comedians are posting crowd work to social media these days." Parker, I'm like, "Really? Okay."
when I first read it, I was like, is he fucking serious? And then I was like, no, this is definitely a bit. Like,
I do these Geek Comedy Tour things where we perform at sci-fi and anime conventions, which I'm not a geek, but I am really into building this robot right now.
Now, how do you keep all the pussy away?
Well, boys, it's easy. You just don't bathe. And my natural musk. No, but the doing crowd work at those, you can easily turn the crowd against you. Because a lot of those dorks are,
Sensitive.
they're already outsiders.
Yeah.
And there was one guy who was like, "Any furries here?" And some guy was like, "Woo!" And I was like, "Fuck you!" And like a crowd was like, "No!
This is their safe space.
He's
Where are they
like-
supposed to go?
He's wearing his fuck suit."
Where are they supposed to go?
He's brave. His furry cock. It's
You're like, "Any couples in here?" All right, yeah, I shouldn't have asked that one at the Geek Convention.
no.
Anybody here? You know what sucks? Japanimation.
Yeah. Anyone else hate the 4Kids dub of Yu-Gi-Oh? Anybody?
Hey guys, my favorite sex position is called the Jedi because it's forced.
Oh God. That's
Oh,
a doozy.
there we go.
That's a doozy.
That's an old
hit-
Tommy
we hit-
Sinbazo bit.
We hit that one. Yeah. You're just passing out deodorant at your show.
Okay, now I don't know where the venue is.
Okay.
But I think
I can look it up.
No, we're
think
good.
if we
We're-
get close to this royal farm down here, we should make a right.
Yeah, no, you are correct. I got it on the GPS.
Okay.
I grew up around here.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so I was.
This was
wondering-
all orange trees.
Nice. Now we don't have to out your real last name, but I just recently found out that Sinbazo is not your real last name.
Yeah, that's nobody's last name. It's a fake.
Right.
fake
How'd
name.
you come upon Sinbazo?
Well,
Were you like Sinbad but more clown-like?
Yeah. Like, what if Sinbad was a clown? No, I don't like when people give themselves nicknames. Like
Right.
in high school, I tried to get people to call me Spider.
I could see.
Like from Goodfellas?
Yeah,
Dude,
sure.
you should get a cowboy tattooed on your scalp.
Hey man, I was already designing logos, and apparently in my inner city school in Baltimore, nobody wanted to. I think they did eventually end up calling me that white boy.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's
That's a good nickname.
See, at my high school, I would have been that 100th white boy.
Oh,
so
okay.
it didn't
Yeah.
quite have the same pop.
So when I was 23, so I don't care. My last name is Lear, right? But it's a German spelling of Lear, so there's an H in there.
Ugh.
And people always try to force that H.
Yeah.
They're like,
Lear.
Leher.
Her.
So people would always screw up my last name.
Right.
When I graduated from high school, they screwed up my name, and I wouldn't walk across the stage until he said my name right.
Hell
Really?
yeah. Power
Wow.
move.
Yeah, that's fucking baller.
Because he called me. Well, first he called me Timmy Leary, and I was like, no. And he was like, I'm sorry, Tom Leher, and I'm like, just get it right. So,
And you were
then-
like, it's Sinbazo.
yeah.
Spider Sinbazo.
So they ended up when I fast forward. When I was 23, I did a belly flop off of a jungle gym and landed on a railroad tie, and exploded my spleen. I was in the hospital for 3
Wow.
weeks. I was in the
Jesus.
hospital during 9/11.
Oh, way to make it about you. Jesus Christ. Tom.
Guys, I too was affected by 9/11.
Yeah.
So then
You
years
probably were like, wait, everyone cares this much about my spleen getting hurt?
Wow, people are
People
wrong.
really-
never forget.
yeah.
But
I
then
think Bush did this too.
years after that, I dated a Cuban girl who used to call me Tommy Sinbazo, which is Spanish for Tommy without spleen. And the very first time I did it, when we broke up, the very first time I did an open mic, they screwed up my last name again. So the next time I did an open mic, I was like, just call me Tommy Sinbazo. And now my real last name feels odd on my tongue.
That's
That's
so
crazy.
cool, dude.
Yeah.
Now, did she know, like, did she pursue you because you were spleenless? Or
No, it's not like she was like,
She was
what
like
is that smell?
A bug chaser, but for missing spleens or whatever. Yeah.
Is your last name Spider?
You
Like,
you no have spleen? No. Oh.
Parker's the resident accent king on the podcast.
that's good.
We get into it. We get into
Yeah.
it on
Can't wait
here.
till you're up for SNL.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of something I wanted to talk about. You know, like, some serious heavyweights from, like, the earlier, not early, but the later Baltimore scene.
Yeah,
I feel.
I know. Stavros just
Stavros.
did his podcast,
Yeah.
which was a total surprise.
Yeah.
because I didn't think Stavros liked me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he would just like I would get him shrooms every now and then.
Nice.
But he messaged me out of nowhere. He was like, "Hey man, do you want to do my podcast?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he won't. Like, I invited to come see Wolverine Deadpool on shrooms.
Yeah.
And he didn't respond. But Shane Gillis hasn't responded to my texts in quite some time. But Shane was always he was a good. I thought he was a good friend.
Yeah. He was the few times I've interacted with him, he's been chill to me because we did High Tops together forever ago, like back when High Tops was the thing. And he was a nice dude, but he did, because it was like when it was that Mike show hybrid thing that T-Brad would do.
Yeah.
And immediately after, like, I went up, he went up and be like, "Man, all these comedians fucking suck." And I was like, "God damn it, it's my second time." But
that is something crazy to think about, though, is I feel like we've been in the scene for a while now, and it's just the same people that we started with. Like,
Yeah.
no one... Like,
Yeah,
no
but
one
I think-
ever actually dies or quits comedy.
I think
you know?
we killed the scene.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it was us.
Like, there are people that started after us that have quit, but
Yeah.
everyone that had been doing it for a while when we started is still doing it, you know, which is kind of weird.
Now,
like,
I feel like, because I feel anybody who's performed with anybody who became famous is really quick to be like, yeah, no, I performed with Stavros. I feel like you need to be like, I sold Stavros shrooms.
Yeah.
I think that's the angle.
Yeah.
Well, this was after he moved.
Right.
And, I think that's the only reason why he kept talking to me. But then it turns out he actually liked me. And I was like, oh,
that's awesome.
okay.
Dude, no, I mean, it's crazy what having drugs can do for your social status.
Oh, yeah.
But hell yeah. Anyway, this has been part one. We'll record another one on the drive back through Tommy's alleyway. But yeah, talk to you guys soon.
Hey guys, this is Al of the Drive Time Podcast. I figured in between part 1 and 2 of this episode, it might be a good opportunity to remind you that Parker and I are both on social media. If you want to follow us on Instagram, you can follow me at Alfred Barnes Comedy and Parker at Parker Brown Comedy. Also, make sure you follow Drive Time. It's at Drive Time Podcast on all platforms. And we also have a YouTube channel now where we post videos and clips that we would love for more people to see. So thanks and enjoy the rest of the episode.
Welcome back to the Drive Time Podcast. I'm Parker Brown.
And I'm Alfred Barnes. And we're here again with the incomparable Mr. Tommy. Tommy, do you have a stage middle name?
Danger?
Tommy Danger Sinbazo.
That's
Danger
Brian
Sinbazo.
Preston's fake middle name.
I could...
That Dave Show forgave him.
I like Brian Preston, but he's the least dangerous person I've met in my life.
Yeah. When I tell people some of my best friends are black, I'm talking about Brian and Dorian.
Oh man, they're just every stereotype too. Straight up.
Yeah.
G
First time I
unit.
met Dorian, he was crip walking down the street. You know,
He kept flicking his toes. He's like, "Come on, cuz."
For those who don't know, Dorian Gray or Violet Gray, is super funny comedian. I like to say the funniest female comic in Baltimore.
Yeah. I just agreed right away. I was like, yeah, no, you're bodying these bitches. Then I was like, wait,
fucking awesome.
Back up. I should.
I didn't know there were any female comedians in Baltimore personally, but that's never seen one.
Damn it, Parker. But yeah, we're back. Just had a monstrous show. I mean, we're just murdering to the two people that were in the audience. It was pretty sick. But Tom, you talked about something on stage I want to get right into.
Okay.
Hold on. Can I just say for the audience, if you wanted to count the number of audience members using your arms, you would barely be able to do it.
Yeah. You'd have to.
Arms.
You could only count them if you suffered a fireworks injury on one hand.
Exactly.
But no, I did. Tommy, you described your early comedy outfit on stage, and it filled me with rage.
Oh my god!
I was like, we had this guy on our fucking podcast.
We call it
bowler hat, dude.
Yeah. We called it old school Tommy Sinbazo. But for like the first 3 years of me doing comedy, I would dress like a fucking clown. With a conga drum and everything. And it would be like if someone would be like, hey, do you want to do time? And I'd be like, I don't have my drum. I can't.
You also left out the plaid pants.
Yep.
Wait, what was the bit with the drum? Did you just play the drum?
It's kind of
Okay,
sick.
I would walk up, which, by the way, you can see this on YouTube. If you search Tommy Sinbazo, you'll see me. But so I would come up, I would have the drum, I would get the crowd clapping, come on, everybody, clap, and just get everybody clapping in unison, and then I would play Doo-Doo Brown. Just boom, dun, 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 boom, dun, 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 boom, dun, 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 boom, Doo-Doo Brown, and then I would take the drum off and put it down.
And you're like, I can't do time without my drum. How could I possibly? How could I possibly do a set?
It's me, ethnic comedian Tommy Sinbazo.
What race are you? Plaid. I'm a plaid comedian.
But yeah, I done. Just trying to figure out my voice.
Right.
Yeah.
I started out in the wrong direction.
Yeah, see, when I was trying to find my voice, I just did some bad impressions.
I think that really describes like the dichotomy of comedians. Though, is half of comedians think comedians are really cool, and then half of them think comedians is like a clown role that isn't cool at all, and that kind of informs how you do comedy. You know?
Yeah.
Well, I read Steve Martin's autobiography, Born Standing Up.
Right.
And in it, he said when he first started, he would incorporate everything that he knew how to do into his act, and so he would play banjo. He would do all this, and then he also said to make sure that you're the best dressed person in the room. He started wearing a white suit because he was more of an alt comic, but by wearing a white suit, it made people think that he was going to be this conservative.
Yeah.
And the juxtaposition of what was coming out of his mouth with what he looked like really leaned into his act.
That is, I never thought of him as an alt comic, but that honestly really is like such a good description of. You know,
he's kind of the OG alt comic. I feel like.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm gonna go back in time and kill Steve Martin. I think that's what I'm gonna do with the time machine.
Yeah,
no.
because the ripple that has become Portland is upsetting.
Or Baltimore.
Yeah.
As you do. I was getting dog biscuits as one does.
I will say Steve Martin did this thing on not Letterman, fucking
Carson?
Yeah, on Carson, where it was stand up for dogs, and it's really fucking funny. It's so fucking dumb, but it's just like, he's like, this is stand up for dogs. He's like, you're not gonna get it. But if you turn the TV up and sit your dog, it was so fucking dumb. But I was like, that takes balls to get on like the biggest show on TV and be like, all right, let me try out this shit.
Yeah.
And then my other favorite bit he did on Johnny Carson is he was like, let me do a card trick, and he was like, is this your card? And Johnny Carson's like, no, and he's like, wrong. I don't know why that shit.
In my early comedy career, I had a card trick where I would even have the announcer like, what do you want me to say about it? Like, tell him that I'm a magician and I just got done working a month of shows under David Blaine. And they would go up and say that, and I would come out dressed fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, ladies and gentlemen, I am a magician, as they said, and Dave, as I like to call him, he showed me this trick, and if you guys would like, I'd like to show you guys the trick. And I'd be like, yeah. And I would pick the hottest chick in the crowd, right, and have her come up on stage, and I'd be like, all right, what's your name, blah, blah, blah. And then I'd be like, okay, now reach into my left pocket, my left front pocket, and pull out the deck of cards. I don't want anyone to think that I've tainted this in any way. So she would take it out, and I would then take my bandana off and use it as a blindfold on myself, right?
Nice.
And I'd be like, all right, now.
Thank God you had that bandana.
Yeah, I'd be like, now, take out the cards, take out one card, and write something on the card, something personal, like your phone number. Write your phone number on the card. And I'll be like, tell me when you're done. I'll be like, I'm done. All right, now take the card and put it back into the deck. Put the deck back into the box. Now put the box back into my front left pocket. And they would do that. I'm like, anytime you're dressed like this and get a girl to give you your number, that's magic.
That's a pretty good joke.
That's a great bit.
Yeah, even though definitely would get canceled.
Yeah,
that'd be
You
funny.
asked for a volunteer.
That'd be hilarious if you were like about to get canceled and then they saw a picture of your outfit and they're like, I don't like victim blaming.
They're like,
but-
guys, we didn't cancel Pee-wee. We can't cancel him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was kind of asking for
Yeah.
Listen, you can't give your phone number to a guy wearing plaid. You know what I mean? No.
Well, what was she wearing? Was she wearing sequins? Was she dressed like an assistant?
Was she dressed like an assistant?
She was begging to get magic.
She was begging to get sawed in half.
Yeah, like all those women that Dave Copperfield took to his island.
Yeah. Dude, I bet being a magician, you probably know all of the ways to seduce a woman that doesn't want to be seduced. You're probably the best at it. You know all of the different.
You're probably the best at
You
it.
know you know how to make shit disappear. You know all of the like rope tricks and shit. That's like you.
You could do sleight of hand to put like a roofie in their drink or something.
Do you think we could do 50 Shades of Grey, but it's a magician instead of a dumb?
52 cards of gray.
Yeah. And she's like, you have to sign this contract that says I can saw you in half anytime I want. I don't want to sign.
Did you see 50 Shades of Grey?
No.
Oh, okay, because I thought that was a deep cut from the movie.
Oh, no, I just know that from the contract, that's like the whole thing is like it's the opposite of real life, like healthy BDSM is like you can never say no to me.
Yeah.
Or
Did you know
whatever.
that 50 Shades of Grey was written as a fanfic for Twilight?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, have you heard like the whole chain of like 9/11? And it's like a whole thing. So apparently,
Go on.
Yeah. So when 9/11 happened, Gerard Way of My Chemical Romance like wrote whatever album about like dealing with his feelings about that. And then from that, Stephanie Meyer was like inspired to write Twilight somehow. I don't know what the connection is there. But then from Twilight, that inspired 50 Shades of Grey. So it's like because 9/11 happened, we ended up with 50 Shades of Grey. It's like this crazy chain.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say the terrorists really like werewolves or something like that, but I guess not. But no, here's
That was the last thing in the black box. It was like
Octotonobly, Lon Chaney,
Taylor Lautner should be the vampire.
yeah. The reason why
Team Edward.
Shark Boy.
the reason why they couldn't get to the White House was because they were arguing about like who Team Edward or Team whatever the fuck the other guy, the Jacob is or whatever. But no. So I recently found, I've been telling everybody this, Tom, I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast, the most erotic scene of any movie I've ever seen in my entire life. And this reminds me of it. It's from a movie called Leaving Las Vegas, which is it's
Nick Cage.
Nick Cage, and he plays a drunk that like gets fired from his job, and he just takes his like severance and like is just gonna go kill himself in Las Vegas through drinking or whatever. And there's a part of the movie where him and this prostitute fall in love, and like right before they're about to like basically make themselves official, he goes, "You can never tell me to stop drinking," to the woman, and the woman goes, "Okay." And I'm like, that's the hottest scene in any movie I've ever seen in my entire life. That's literally going to be in my wedding vows. I think it's just me going, "You can never tell me to stop drinking."
So, Leaving Las Vegas won Nick Cage an Oscar.
Yeah.
So, Nick Cage was on a plane with Martin Short after he won the Oscar. I just found this out today.
Okay.
And Martin Short sees him and comes over, and it was like, Nick Cage, oh my God,
Yeah.
I loved Leaving Las Vegas. Thank you for being in the movie.
Right.
Congrats on your Oscar. And Nick Cage was like, wow, I'm a big fan, Martin Short. I loved you in Clifford. Do you remember Clifford, where he plays the little boy?
What? No.
There's one where Martin Short plays a 8-year-old boy named Clifford who's fucking annoying as shit.
So he names like the worst movie of all time.
Yeah.
That's
And
hilarious.
he tells him, he was like, when I forget who the main actor is, but he was like, that scene where you were impersonating him drinking hot sauce, I broke my VCR rewinding it to rewatch it over and over again.
That's awesome. That's awesome, dude. I'll tell you that movie, Leaving Las Vegas, though the female prostitute I think has a better performance than Nick Cage. Weirdly enough, their romance is like one of the most touching things too. It's like, yeah, she's a prostitute, he's this drunk, and like it's literally like I'm rooting for them harder than like any relationship I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't know what's so compelling about it, but it really is like a super compelling movie.
I've never seen it, but I've heard it.
Highly
heard it won an
recommend.
Oscar.
Yeah,
But yeah,
same.
and he also just like actually plays a drunk well. Like it's like after watching that movie, you go, oh yeah, Hollywood just plays drunks completely wrong.
Yeah.
You know, he actually is he plays a guy that's drunk that's trying to seem sober. Like that's how drunks really are. They aren't like like wobbling around everywhere, but like they
There's
just
not like
can't
the song
completely...
Baby Elephant playing
Yeah.
So the best to pick, I used to do ecstasy all the time.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
In the,
like a cool guy.
In the late 90s, early 2000s, we would go to the goth club and do ecstasy because that's where you want to
That
feel.
sounds so sick, dude. What, what the fuck?
Yeah, when we stopped doing drugs, I was like, this place sucks.
Well, wait. I figured it out. Your outfit that you used to wear, that was like your version. That's a comedy goth. That's like I want to hurt myself using clothing or whatever. No, sorry.
So, but the bet, and then you'd see movies where people are supposed to be on ecstasy.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
And it was like, that's not what it's
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
The best depiction I ever saw of someone on ecstasy was an episode of the show That's My Bush. Do you remember the show That's My Bush?
No.
Okay. So Trey Parker and Matt Stone, when George Bush got reelected, before 9/11, they had a sitcom on Comedy Central called That's My
What?
Bush. Yeah, where it was a guy who looked like George Bush. He had a wacky neighbor that to the White House that would come in, it would Kramer his way in, and it was a situational comedy about being the president.
Oh my god!
By
I gotta
Trey
watch
Parker.
This,
Yeah,
dude.
I think I own the DVD somewhere.
Oh, hell yeah.
But there was an episode where they're supposed to do an anti-drug PSA, and they leave 2 ecstasy pills on his desk, and he comes in and has a headache and thinks they're aspirin and takes it, and then gives the most accurate portrayal of someone on ecstasy, like he's grinding his teeth and just fucking chugging water.
That's fucking awesome.
That's badass. Real quick before we wrap up, I did want to ask, because Bussi has a great comedy special out.
Right.
And I was talking to Tommy about this. So you recorded a comedy special too that hasn't come out yet.
Yeah.
But we're hoping it will.
Yeah.
At some point in the foreseeable future.
It's never
Oh
coming
God,
out.
this car is upset. They are upset that I'm here. What the hell? They are creeping. They must not know we're recording a podcast. Relax, honey. But one thing, Parker and I, whenever we're doing something annoying in traffic, we get very indignant because we're recording a podcast.
Yeah. We're like, come on,
You see what we're doing here. We're
live
working.
on air light is on. Quiet on set.
We're making art.
Yeah.
But no. So you recorded a Kick-Ass special. I went to the taping. It was awesome. I loved it. But you did have to re-record the beginning of it because the audio was fucked up.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know how brutal that was to have to go out and repeat material to the same audience.
It was, one, I hate repeating myself anyway. If I say something and Lou doesn't hear me, I say it at a volume that is so obnoxious the second time. But yeah, having to go back because now I know everyone's faking the response.
Yeah.
And it's like I stopped going to strip clubs once I came to the realization that they didn't like me. But yeah, that special's probably never going to see the light of day because I messaged them last year and was like, "Hey, whatever happened to that special?" And they were like, "Well, we recorded all these specials with the hopes of putting it on, like selling the package to Hulu or Netflix.
Right.
But it turns out that they said that the market was flooded with comedy specials. Everybody had released a comedy special.
And that's
And they said that when it dies down, they may then release it. But I mean, I did COVID-related material in the special.
Yeah.
So,
but it's also like when it dies down, it's like you have people that are 3 months into comedy recording comedy specials.
There's people that like I just met for the first time last week in Baltimore, and they're like, "Yeah, my special's coming out soon." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
But we got over 1,000 views on the Bussi special in a week.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
I was one of them.
Yeah. Nice. How many times you watch it, partner?
I'm saving it for when I meet my wife.
Oh, okay.
When I meet my wife,
you're gonna fuck
the wedding night. The wedding night, I'm gonna go. We've fucked many times. I've fisted your ass, whatever. But the real thing we were saving was this special.
No, I do like that you
Bussi stays on when we fuck.
Like before we consummate the relationship, I really need a finger on the pulse of how you feel
Before I
about
remove
Bussi.
this condom to enter a second time.
I have to make sure it's for real.
Yeah. Tommy? What would I think all three of us in here are. Dilettantes? Is that the word when you don't give a fuck about cultural norms around sex? Is that what the
Sure?
Debutantes? What's
deviants? Yeah, I think
deviant.
Yeah.
What would you consider
Dilettantes?
Dilettante.
Well, it's like when you at the show tonight, you asked the guy, you were like, or you asked her, "What's the worst porn topic that you can find?"
Yeah.
And the clear answer is kitty.
Yeah.
But you were like, "What's it, black?" I'm like, not black.
I was saying from the guy's perspective, like if he was like,
If you find out she's like, "I like toddlers."
"Oh no!"
Dude, I used to have a bit that I've never that I could never do at shows that would always do pretty good at mics about Gary Coleman's wife, like how like she has to suck because she doesn't have the same disease, so she either wants to fuck kids or married someone she's not attracted to.
Yeah.
At all, you know what I mean?
Vern Troyer, Mini-Me, he
Yeah.
had a girlfriend too.
But he looks like a human though. Not a human. Sorry, an adult.
He looks like
Min Diesel.
Min Diesel. It's a great. Yeah.
There it is.
All right.
Hell yeah! Well, this has been the Drive Time Podcast. Tommy, thank
Wait, guys,
you so much.
I want to say something. You
yes.
guys are some of my favorite comics.
Oh, thank you,
thanks.
Tommy.
And I'm glad you guys kept doing it.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate that.
And
and
big things are coming for you guys.
thank you. That means
but
yeah,
yeah.
That's the
that
nicest
means
thing
a lot.
anyone's
You're
ever
one
said.
of our favorite comics as well.
Yeah.
All the
We
time.
love you.
Parker and I, we've often said we feel like we're trying to be the second wave of Eric and Tommy.
Yeah.
It's really we did say on a podcast a while ago. We were like, yeah, Eric and Tommy, like when we started, they were kind of where we are now, and then now they've blown up. And I was like, they stole our youth. they ripped it from us.
Yeah, they did.
And they catapulted themselves to success. But all the time when people are like, who's like a good Baltimore comedy, it's like you and Eric are the two names that I always
Thanks,
bring
man.
up.
Hey, let's book a show where it's Bussi and you guys.
I would love that.
yeah.
I would love that. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well, Eric did say, he's like, hey, on the off chance we did a show as a full band, you want to play bass? And I was like, yep.
Oh, nice.
That'd be dope.
You do tambourine.
I dance.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'll go. Interpretive dance.
Whoa.
Yeah, real rolling, like inaccurate,
Like a
unaccurate.
70s hippie chick,
It's like
at
we
the
think
tent.
this is what ecstasy's
In a
like.
It's
tent.
the White
Yeah,
Witch.
Yeah. No, can I be the Yoko Ono of Bussi?
Sure,
Can
you
I?
can just stand there and scream into a microphone. Like, this is his Make-A-Wish.
Dude, that's what people are like, Yoko Ono's the worst because she broke up the Beatles. It's like, no, it's her music is the worst part of Yoko Ono. That's way worse than breaking up the
Yoko
Beatles.
Ono is like, also, they named her perfectly somehow. Like, that's exactly what it's like she sings every time.
Yoko, oh, no.
Her name became a verb.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you got Yoko. When he like broke up a band. But hell yeah. Well, Tommy, thank you again
Tommy.
for doing
Thanks
this.
for having me on
This fucking rules.
Hell yeah.
And this piece of shit car.
Yeah, this is my dad's car.
Oh, okay.
This is my dad's Expedition, baby. Spacious. You could take a nap in the back if you wanted to, if we were really bombing on the pod.
Man,
But-
Eddie Lyles could live in this thing.
Hey, that's Parker's one comedy beef. We won't talk about that.
Oh, wait, do you want to do that at the end? Do you want to
What?
hear?
Yeah.
So this is cool. Me and Eddie are cool now,
Yeah, okay.
I think. But, like, the third time I ever did comedy was at this place called Second Chance Saloon in Columbia or whatever.
Brutal Mike.
Brutal
Yeah,
Mike.
God.
And I go up and I talk about the second time I ever did comedy, which is when I went to Sidebar, if you remember Sidebar. And Phoenix, who I think is passed away,
Yeah,
RIP,
Phoenix is gone.
but talked about like me eating her pussy the whole time, and I talked about that on stage. Eddie Lyles is like an established comic at the time, gets up and runs the light, telling me to quit stand-up comedy. And like literally, he's like getting the light, and he's like, hold on, I got like 2 or 3 more minutes. And second thing, you brought a notebook on stage, and never bring a notebook on. Yeah. So that was the day I was like, I'm gonna become a comic just to prove him wrong, or whatever. But yeah, that's
My only beef
comedy.
with Eddie is he watched my set one time and he's like, "Did you film that?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You submit that to the DC Comedy Festival, you're getting in for sure." And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" And I submitted it and I didn't get in. And I was like, "What the fuck?"
I fucking know Eddie, and I couldn't get into I submitted and couldn't get in.
Oh, damn,
I ended up
Tommy
having
couldn't get
I
in.
had to book my own show. I booked a musical comedy night.
That's hilarious. All right,
That's
hell
fucking
yeah.
awesome.
All right, well, I think
Yeah.
that's the show. Thank you
Yeah.
guys so much, everybody.
This has been the Drive Time Podcast with Al Parker and the incomparable Tommy Sinbazo.
Bye, guys.
Have a good
People
one.
are creeping past me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so fucking funny.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Thanks again for listening to this episode of the Drive Time Podcast. If you want to keep up with what Tommy's doing, make sure you follow his Instagram at Tommy_Sinbazo, and also follow Bussi's Instagram at Bussi with an I. That's BUSSIWITHANI. Please enjoy this clip from the recent special, Transparent, which is available on YouTube.
But as a matter of fact, ma'am, right? Did you notice this?
Oh my God! Yeah. Wow.
You bear a very striking resemblance to the woman that we fought over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
like, oh, I understand.
It is.
I wouldn't choose either of you.
It is fucking remarkable.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
But so it helps if we wrote a song about her, about our rivalry over her.
Yeah.
Can we sing that song to you?
Just as like you could stand in, it helps us just visualize what's going on.
Ma'am, what's your name? Stacy. Oh man, her name was Amanda. So close. Yeah.
I see her everywhere.
Just checking my text messages. Stacy. Like I'ma suck on your toes, the dicks of the feet. I'll even suck on your pinky toe, where you don't really have a toenail there, but you paint it anyway like it's a mirage in the desert. And how like your ring toe is like 2 times longer than any other toe. And when you wear sandals, it clickety-clacks across linoleum like you're a velociraptor hunting children in a kitchen. You clever girl. And even though you look like something that the Shredder made to kill the Ninja Turtles, I'll still lick your cowabunga hole.
We belong together, do the math.
Multiplication.
Rub your flipper against my shaft.
Roll that puss to me. Lift your colostomy. A finger the hole where you pee.
Sit on my face, the closest parking space. Before I eat a meal, I say grace. Girl, you know you're my special girl.
You can't eat solid food, so I'll come down your feet and eat too. Tasted weird.
You're my special girl,
Give it up for Stacy, everybody.